Welcome, Summoners. I'm Spartus,
And I'm Mr. Robot,
and this is the League of Carmel, which is brought to you today by Lady Luck Productions.
and sponsored by CBN, the Caravan Broadcast Network.
1, 2, 3, go. Alright, on the purple side, we have Pro Gamer, Drosed, and AIM. On the blue side, we have Spleet, RCOP, and RIP.
And we're starting off here in picks and bans. The first ban is Tryndamere, a very good ban for threes. He's a tricky guy who can go through the walls all the time and be able to get you from behind.
Yeah, really strong bruiser, too. Bruisers are usually pretty dominant in threes, and Tyrion and his ult, late game, pretty unstoppable if he gets fed early game.
And then the second ban is Elise, very good. She can jump over walls, has stuns, very good kit for threes.
Rise, I'm kind of surprised with the pick from Rise. I mean, he's not that great of a champ
Yeah,
anymore, and
especially for
especially in
threes.
threes. Yeah, especially in threes. So they must be pulling something. They must have some comp that they're trying to make sure that doesn't get countered.
Yeah, the next ban is Kale, a good ban for threes with her heal and her burst and her ult. It's all very good for threes.
That AoE splash damage is just it's horrendous early game. Really
Yeah.
good for team fights.
Yeah, and then we have Zach as the final ban for the blue team. Very good for threes. He's can jump over walls, has a lot of good CC, especially for team fights.
I like Zach, but in my opinion, Zach is just one of those champions where it depends on how you build them more than maybe your skill set of how you or your knowledge of the game. Really tricky person to build.
I completely agree. And the final ban for purple side was Jax. Always a good ban in threes. He can 1v1 anyone, and late game, if he gets fed, he can take your entire team.
Pretty much a good ban almost in league in general. I mean, Jax is a scary guy.
Especially in threes, because he can jump around so much.
Yeah, definitely. That the whole jumping around, especially if there's a mage on the enemy team. I mean, Jax is instantly there with the stun waiting for you and a boatload of damage. We have Kha'Zix locked in and on the blue team, and we have Wukong and Udre on the purple team.
Now, so far, these are very good picks. The Wukong and Udyr work very well together. You can both jump on the enemy team, knock them up with your Wukong ultimate, and then stun them with the the Udyr E, and then put a lot of good damage down. Kha'Zix is always a good pick for threes because he can actually jump over the middle walls with his evolved E.
Yeah, it's a great concept to have. I mean, the ganks are legendary if he does end up playing jungle, or to help out another lane. Something that I have noticed though on the purple team is they all have extremely strong initiators, which is just gonna end up hurting Zyra really hard early game.
Yeah, and with the Zyra and Lee Sin for the blue team for the last two picks, blue team is extremely squishy. If purple team gets any chance, they're going to destroy the blue team immediately.
I do like the Lee Sin pick though. With his kick, he can kick people off Zyra. If there's a miscommunication on purple team, they initiate in different times. I mean, it's going to be interesting to see how they deal with or how purple team deals with shutting down Zyra in team fights.
Yeah, blue team's greatest strategy here would be to run as assassins. Zed, kit made to be an assassin. Udyr, very good for keeping people down so that the assassins could do their work, and Wukong can keep people there for the rest of his team to do damage.
Like I was saying earlier, those Kha'Zix skinks are legendary, and as we do see, he did get smite on threes. Kind of a misunderstanding of smite in threes is that he has smite, noob, GG. But I'm a really big fan of smite. You can clear waves of or clear your jungle extremely fast. It's a 40-second cooldown in threes, and you have the health relic. So it's a good way of jungling, in my opinion, nice and fast, so you can get more ganks in.
Yes, a very good strategy, especially to counter a team like what purple team has going here. Can gank very easily and shut down the lane so that they cannot get the late game builds that they need to assassinate the other team properly.
kind of excited to see how Purple Team deals with the jungler. It's really hard to have at bottom have a single person and then a duo because that single person ends up getting higher in level, and you end up pushed the whole time.
Well, they do have the possibility of having the double lane split every so often, and one of them goes and clears the jungle while the other one clears the lane. The one that clears the jungle gets pretty much the same amount of gold as the one in the lane, and they both get around the same experience. So when they switch off like that, they're around equal to the other team, so it doesn't really have any drawbacks there.
There's a dozen ways to react to the enemy team having jungler, but I'm kind of excited to see where blue team goes with this, or purple team. I mean,
Yeah, blue team has many different strategies that they could do here. For team fights, Zyra could put down her ult and Lee Sin could kick all of them directly into it. Kha'Zix can jump on them, get out of there, and Lee Sin and Zyra can make sure that he gets out. While the purple team has a lot of good engages, so we'll see if they can disengage well enough to not lose their team fights.
yeah, well, we'll see, we'll see. I'm wondering what Zyra's gonna build first because I'm feeling that Zyra might go bottom lane by herself. That's pretty much the usual pick when you're gonna be double laned or a solo lane by yourself is to put the mage down there. So seeing what she built first, if she goes for the mana, so she can have high consistent pokes and so she can CS properly, or she can go for damage or defensive build because, like I've said earlier, purple team has extremely strong initiators with Udre's speed and Wukong's jump and Zed's ult. I mean, they can jump on her pretty much whenever they want. So maybe she'll go a little bit more defensive, more ability power, more mana. We'll see.
All good possibilities for her here. And it is always a good idea to put your mage in the bottom lane, because the bottom lane is actually shorter than the top. It is straight instead of curved like the top lane, so you can get back to lane a lot faster and lose as little experience as possible, which is always good for mages, who scale a lot better with experience than gold.
Definitely, definitely. Also, something that mages like to do, like I said earlier, if they pick the mana route and having high mana regen and picking like a tears right off the bat, they have they have abilities. They can use their abilities to last hit, so they don't drop behind CS too much. But the bad thing about this is their early team fights, or Zyra's early team fights, end up not being that well because she can't do any damage. So
Yeah, so we'll see what happens. We're actually heading into the game now.
Wukong went with the basic Doran's ring and boots, which is a pretty good pick. Um, this game's kind of old because he should have pots.
Yeah, oh well. And it's
Yeah.
kind of hard to tell what the
Yeah.
other team has, what the rest of the team has here, because it's a YouTube video and not a replay.
This guy's a dick and won't let us see. It looks like Udre's also gonna jump. Got the spirit guide. What's it called?
Spirit Guard, yeah.
He got spirit guard. So
Oh, Spirit Stone.
counter
Sorry for the for the item.
a spirit stone. It looks like he's going to jungle to counter their jungler, which in my opinion is the best way to counter a jungler in threes is to jungle yourself.
Well, it's interesting because he doesn't have Smite, so we'll see what he goes with. Because he did start with the Phoenix as his first move, which will allow him very good AOE clear from the jungle. So maybe his Smite won't be needed, and maybe he'll fall behind Kha'Zix. We'll have to see what happens.
Something nice about Smite that I forgot to mention earlier is the early game Vilmaw control. If you have Smite, you can get early game Vilmaw control, and the more Vilmaws you get in a threes match, the more money you give your team because Vilmaw gives you a good amount of gold. And if you can solo that around level 13, I mean you're doing a good duty for your team, and without having to waste anybody else's time. All right, so we have Lee Sin being nice and scary, kind of keeping Wukong boxed out.
Yeah, he's been
Uh,
putting good harass down on Wukong there to make sure that he can't get as much CS as possible.
Yeah, he's forcing him to use his E in order to CS. So it just shows you how dominant Lee Sin is pre-level 2.
Yeah, and Lee Sin here has the level advantage, so he's very easily able to put good pressure on Wukong here to push him even further back to tower.
What ganks are you liking better, Mr. Robot? Are you liking? Are you gonna think that? Or what do you think is gonna end up doing better, the Udre ganks or the Kha'Zix ganks?
Well, it depends on how it goes, because seeing here, Kha'Zix just showed up. He's able to deal a lot of damage very fast. The
Oh, he has the ignite on him. Ooh, didn't not have ticks on the ignite. Zed was really close to getting a kill.
Yes, and then as we see here, Udre is able to Udyr is able to stun them immediately when they show up. So the laner is able to put a lot more damage on it. The ganks will really be reliant on how the purple team can avoid Kha'Zix, and then how much damage they can also deal when Udre shows up.
Well, that was a 1-for-1. Luckily Udre showed up just on time. Not too early for where they would all leave, but not too late where he wouldn't get the kill. So good job on Udre, picking up a kill. Now Wukong gets a little bit of his lane to himself, so he can finally CS. And that was short-lived. Lee Sin's back.
Actually, seeing bottom lane, Zed is being pushed really far back by Zyra. Not something that I would think I'd be saying in this game.
Yeah, Zyra's snares are really annoying. It's really up to Zed where if he actually cares if she snares him, because the snares don't do that much damage. So, in my opinion, the Zed should either dodge the snare, of course, or not worry so much. He's actually really scared that he's going to get snared, so he's not CSing.
Yeah, and especially if the Zyra puts down a plant and then throws a stun on them, because if the plant is activated and they're stunned relatively close to it, the melee creep, the melee plant that shows up from that, can deal a lot of damage, especially early levels.
Flash was just wasted snare and then a W put down to take half of Wukong's health. Zyra not scared. Something I like that both team has done already is that they're not waiting for the junglers to gank. So far, Zed's ganked top and Wukong just ganked bottom. So really big team support early game.
Yeah, taking a very active route to this strategy so that everyone can put as much pressure everywhere on the map. Even Wukong was able to get the health relic there because he was putting enough pressure on Lee Sin so that he could get it without being taking any damage.
Yeah, definitely. I'm hoping if Zed doesn't if he keeps doing the thing what he's doing now, which is not CSing and really scared of Zyra, he's going to end up falling behind, and he's an assassin, so an assassin falling behind is pretty deadly in early game team fights. So he needs to start picking up the slack.
Yeah, especially against the Zyra. Besides her very early game good damage, after that she's pretty much garbage in lane. She really can't do much besides her snare, and if she misplaces her plants at all, that's more than half of her damage gone right there.
Yeah, the 1v1 should be coming pretty soon. He'll start initiating these not these team fights, these 1v1s. And there'll be no challenge if this Zed is as good as we think he is.
Yeah, especially post 6, and as Zed is hitting 6 now, he's going to be able to use his ult on Zyra and get a lot of damage off really fast, and she's not going to be able to do anything about it. She could possibly snare him, but he can just ghost out of it. There's a lot of things that she can't do that he can just get better damage off.
If you notice what Wukong's doing right now is he's last hitting. He's doing this so that he freezes his lane. He sees his lane is not being hit by turret, or just 1 minute hit it, but it's not, his minions aren't getting hit by turret, but at the same time, you see that Udre can possibly, there's a fight going bottom, it seems like it's a 2v2, Zyra just popped a barrier, Udre went too deep in, and then got ganked by a Kha'Zix.
Yeah,
jumped out of nowhere.
Yeah, as I was saying there, Zed's ultimate was able to deal a lot of damage to Zyra extremely fast. If it wasn't a 2v2 there, Zyra would have been dead immediately. And, as we were talking about earlier, Kha'Zix was able to jump in and deal as much damage as possible extremely fast and killed Udyr immediately.
Yeah, unfortunately, Zed didn't see Kha'Zix until he was right in his face because Kha'Zix actually ulted,
Yeah,
which
this
giving him.
Kha'Zix is taking a very stealthy route to ganking, and every time he walks up, he's ulting so that they don't see him walk into lane, and then jumping directly onto the enemy team.
Udre's probably going to take Golems right now and to help out Wukong or maybe even a gank. Yeah, he's going in as Bear. Kha'Zix jumps away. But you can see Udre, thirsty for blood there, almost dropped his Golem for it. Um, like I was saying earlier, he's last hitting. He's freezing his lane so that Udre can have easier ganks. Doesn't have to go that far. Easy access from his jungle to go to top lane if his lane is right between that. What's that called, Pat? The pathway? I don't know. That
The jungle entrance.
the jungle entrance from the tower.
Now that's also a very good strategy because Lee Sin is not in lane right now, and freezing your lane means that freezing the lane is the best way to deny CS to the other team. If he's not in lane, he can't even contest any of the CS and is losing multiple waves worth of CS being gone from lane.
Yeah, definitely. I agree with that. Quick question, Mr. Robot. What do you think Zed? You feel like Zed should change his build because he's going against a Zyra? Like, I don't know, build some magic resistance, with a little bit of ability power, or do you think he should just go his traditional, lifesteal route?
I feel like he really doesn't need to build a lot of MR here because the rest
Uje
of their
going
team.
sorry, go proceed.
It's fine. And because the rest of their team is mostly physical damage, so he's going to need more armor than anything. The one thing is though is that he really doesn't need a lot of armor pen like a lot of Zeds normally build, so he can build a little more straight attack damage with lifesteal.
You see Udre pushing top a little bit in order to get some farm. You can tell that he's a little bit behind level. He's actually the highest level on his team. Sorry I said that. Goes ahead and stuns Zyro. Wukong jumps in with his E. Looks like Zyro's dead. Where is Zed? Waits until last second to Q, and then Wukong taking a lot of damage. Lee Sin jumps in, and Wukong's down. Zed with the Ignite. Wukong flashes. Doesn't matter. Ignite takes him out of his life.
Zed a little late to that fight. He was sitting back a little while and then came in right when everyone was about to die. That would have been a lot better fight if Zed had come in early and maybe ulted one of their strong damage champs and took them out of the fight. Maybe then Wukong wouldn't have died there.
The misconception with assassins in threes is that you let both of your teammates initiate, and then you go in when everybody's half health, so you pretty much get an ace. What an effective Zed would have done is he would have went in there, did as much damage as possible, probably get targeted by Lee Sin, and then leave.
Yeah, and especially
So
with an extremely slippery assassin like Zed, he would be able to do that very, very
Wukong
easily.
initiates with his E and takes him down. Wow, really, Lee Sin had no answer to that. He had two pokes and he went straight in, and yeah, Lee Sin didn't know how to react. Great job by Wukong.
Yeah, there's no reason Lee Sin should have taken that. Wukong deals a lot of damage in lane, especially when you allow him to jump on you and don't deal any damage back.
Exactly. Lee Sin was scared. He pretty much Wukong would jump and then Lee Sin would try running away, where he should have tried to returning some of the damage.
Yeah, and especially with Wukong's W giving him a little bit of movement speed bonus when he uses it, he's able to chase down Lee Sin very easily and get a good kill there.
Ooh, Lee Sin jumps on Zed, does a little bit of damage, and looks like Zed's jumping around, gets trapped by Zyra. Udre and Wukong take the long route. Now Udre exhausts Lee Sin. Zyra ults to help out Lee Sin. Wukong does a bunch of damage. Ooh, not enough damage. Tower starts hitting Wukong. And then Udre gets away with Turtle and Bear. Both low health. Do you think he's going to tower dive?
I don't think he should tower dive here. He's taking a lot of damage just standing there trying to get away. As we see here, Purple Team did a very good job executing their hard engage strategy. They were able to jump on Blue Team and get a lot of damage down before Blue Team was able to even do anything. The only thing is that when Zyra threw down their ult, Wukong should have either E'd in and then ulted so that the other team couldn't get away, or they both should have backed off. Because the only reason Udre died there is because they both stayed there and couldn't deal any damage because of the ultimate.
Um, quick note: Udre didn't die. I wouldn't say
Oh,
that in a real game.
sorry,
Yeah.
Wukong. Wukong died.
Yeah, though, really, yeah, like you were saying earlier, really good ult by Zyra. It actually secured a Lee Sin kill because it kind of brought, what was it? It brought Zed closer to the tower. Not Zed. It brought Wukong closer to the tower.
Yeah, and then they did a little dance around tower and was able to get some tower shots in and help them with that fight.
Like I mentioned earlier in the game, Vilma control is really important. Gives you a nice buff. Gives you a lot of money. Unfortunately, Wukong does it in a really bad time. It makes it obvious that he was going to take it. What I would have recommended is that Udre goes in there by himself and takes it. He has smite, and he will be able to do enough damage, and he would have a good amount of life sustained because of his turtle.
Well, actually, Udyr is the jungler who doesn't have smite, so that was their problem there. The other team would have come in and smited Vilema away if they tried staying in there and taking it. Udyr wouldn't have been able to do anything.
Good point. I mean, they were pretty much giving Vilma away. If they would have done more damage to Vilma, they were pretty much handing it off to them. Bad time to try to start it.
Yeah, and then right there, Wukong was caught out by the other team. He even wasted his ult there at the end of the fight pretty uselessly.
All right, we have three people on top, and Udre hopelessly trying to help his tower. People are coming up. Zed's coming up. Zed maybe taking a little bit of a dangerous route. Nope. Looks good. Looks good. I'm not sure who has the most CS in the game, but this is around the time where I would say who has the most CS. And in 30 minutes, we have the MVS. Oh, now they're taking Vilma. Better. I don't know if this is a good time, Mr. Robot. What would you say?
I would say, seeing that they don't know where any of the other team is, they with these two team comps, it was a good idea because the other team isn't really good at really hard engages. The only one who'd be able to jump in there and do a lot of damage is Kha'Zix, so they were able to take that without much worry.
Yeah, the Kha'Zix Lee Sin, and the scary part is that Kha'Zix could have just jumped in there and then smited.
Yeah, that is always a possibility, but when you have minions pretty much everywhere so that you can see the lanes, you'd be able to see him coming.
Yeah, kind of curious on where they were. I guess they were afraid of being... never mind, they're all in the bush, and they quickly take Wukong. It looks like Udre's next. Lee Sin has yet to use his kick. And it seems like he won't use it. Didn't have good placement to use it. Wukong's down. I'm kind of curious on how they use this time wisely. Are they going to take down a turret? Going to try contesting altar? Let's see.
Well, it'd be hard for them to contest an altar here because the purple team's altar is locked right now, and they own their altar.
No, I couldn't see. Yeah, it's hard to see a lot of stuff on this thing.
Yeah, I understand. But then also, top lane was pushed. So if they brought their entire team up there, they probably could have easily contested that tower and maybe even gotten it down. Instead, Zyra went down bottom and tried clearing the wave, which was almost back to their tower. Not a good call on their part there.
Alright, Summoners, now it's time to do the MVS, which means Most Valuable Summoner. Every 15 minutes in any tournament or game. Oh, looks like that, who is that? It looks like Lee Sin's going to take a lot of damage. Ooh, Udre couldn't take off the other stun, though. But Zed putting a lot of damage just by himself in there. If Udre could put another stun in there, that would have been an easy kill. Like I was saying earlier, 15 minutes in, we named the MVS. What the MVS is, the most valuable summoner. Every 15 minutes in, we name the most valuable summoner. The most valuable summoner of this game, Mr. Robot?
It's hard to decide on this one because there's been a lot of good plays by everyone. I would have to say Zyra because she's made some very good crowd control for her team and secured a lot of good kills.
Yeah, I'm a big Zyra fan too. I was going to say that. Just right there, she just secured the Zed kill with her snare and then Kha'Zix cleaning up. Yeah, misses the snare there too. Misses the snare there though. unfortunately. Probably would not have been able to get the Udre, so it doesn't really matter.
Yeah, her
But it's
ultimate
nice to
has
harass.
yeah, her ultimate has secured many good team fights and many very good kills with no trades able to be made by the other team.
Oh, she's contesting the altar. Very wise, since they have a person dead. Lee Sin's going in, probably going to get the Udre kill. No! Zyro misses the snare. Zyro does not see Wukong going in. She flashes away safely. Wukong ult on Lee Sin. There's Ignite on him. Zyro sticks around for the fight. Ooh, Wukong taking a lot of damage by Kha'Zix, and the snare stops him, so no one can run away from Kha'Zix. Udre going in, doesn't care about his health. Kha'Zix runs away. Ooh. I'm saying ooh a lot. I'm really excited. Um, 15 minutes in, so yeah, I agree. I'm also getting to Zyra. Really good team fight. Unfortunately, I feel like Zyra should have backed out earlier than she did. She's deemed pretty much useless after that whole altar ordeal, or after she's snared Zed.
Yeah, I feel like the blue team could have disengaged there and not have lost their entire team. But also, purple team engaged with only Wukong at the start, and then Udyr was able to jump in a little bit right after him. That was a bad call. If their entire team was there, they probably would have been able to jump on both Zyra and Kha'Zix and kill them almost immediately. But instead, Wukong died, and then Udyr and Zed had to clean everything up with a death. They could have gotten an 0 for 3 fight there, but instead it had to be 1 for 3.
I'm really liking this Lee Sin though. I feel if Zyro didn't get the MBS, I probably would have given it to Lee Sin. He's having really strong initiates, and he's taking a lot of damage, and actually putting a lot of damage out too.
Yes, Lee Sin has been a very large teamfight presence on their team. He's been doing his job extremely well, and has been able to secure very good kills. The only thing, though, is that he was not very good in lane. Zyro was able to push his Zed back, which I never thought I would say. She
Exactly.
definitely did good in this game.
Oh, Udre ghost. I don't know why he ghosted though. It's gonna be a 3v2 pretty much. Zed goes in. Can't really do much. He gets queued by Lee Sin. Lee Sin's going in, kicks him back. He has Ignite. Takes him out. Lee Sin's probably gonna die, but he died a worthy death because he did get Zed. It's a 1v1 pretty much. Udre's going in, trying to see if he can catch the Kha'Zix. Zyro comes back with full health, and it looks like it's gonna be a runaway.
Very good fight there for blue team.
Ooh, Udre doesn't go away. Kha'Zix. Very slippery. Kha'Zix is a very slippery assassin. You never know where he can jump. That could have easily turned around where Udre would have went in, Kha'Zix would have jumped out, and then Zyro could have snared Udre and then done a bunch of damage.
Yes, exactly what their team comp is meant to do. The blue team was able to disengage that fight extremely well, and Zed, who even ulted in that fight, was not able to deal any damage and even died for it. Wukong wasted his ult and didn't even hit any champion on the other team. Blue team's doing a very good job with their disengage.
Something else that something that purple is doing really nice is they keep contesting Vilma. Vilma is really important. Unfortunately, they picked a bad time to do it right now, and hopefully that doesn't turn around and bite them in the butt. Oh, Kha'Zix goes in. Pretty much dies instantly. Wukong is in and gets bursted down by Zyra. No one's focusing Zed, so Zed's just going ham. Zed jumps out of Zyra's E and instantly dead. Zyra does have her passive, and Wukong is pretty much killable. And she misses it. She had one chance to redeem herself there. Unfortunately, she missed her passive.
Yeah, very close for Wukong there. He did a lot of good damage, but took a little too much. He almost died.
Nice thing about that, though, is because Wukong took a lot of damage, no one was focusing the Zed, and he pretty much was just jumping around, just doing a bunch of damage to everybody.
Yeah, the Zed was able to literally take out their entire team by himself, with a little extra damage from the other two people on his team.
Lee Sin playing aggressive, doesn't fall for the decoy though. Yeah, the nice thing about Zyra is she pretty much is dominant against assassins. Her ult stops assassins. Her snare stops assassins. So that's why Zed hasn't really been effective at all. he should have dominated early game in lane phase, but he didn't. Because he's not going to pick up now in team fights because of Zyra's utility. But that was a bad example, of course, because it wasn't a really a 3v3. It was kind of a blue just trying to run away.
Yeah,
And
blue team there. At the start, it was really only a 2v3 because Lee Sin was off to the side trying to come around and flank them for the Violma fight. It turns out that the hard engage for the purple team was able to work well there and jumped on the blue team when they didn't see it coming.
yeah, there was really bad communication in there. Just all in total. Two people went in, then they all left, and then somebody went back in. Bad. Udre's going in, initiating, trying to initiate at least. Decides to change his mind, and it looks like he's going top. How do you feel about Wukong and starting off with the Hydra?
I believe it was a very good choice for him, especially because when he uses his Q, it applies the area of effect, so that he can deal as much damage in an area of effect as possible.
Yeah, it procs off really nicely. And he was having problems with the Lee Sin laning and getting CS. The Hydra pretty much made him a bully and changed that really quickly.
Yeah, he
Which
was
made
able to
Wukong.
clear. Yeah, he was able to clear waves extremely fast whenever Lee Sin was there. Wasn't there?
Yeah, now it's just kind of roaming around. In Blue doesn't feel comfortable with starting 3v3s right now. You can clearly tell. Because they know where they're at. But they don't want to start anything. Or try to start anything. Oh! Looks like, yeah, I mean, there's just a bunch of dancing. Something that I would like to say again about Purple Team is they've had great ultra control. Ooh, Zed kind of catches out and gets kind of sandwiched. But Udre on Wukong trying to make up for it. Lee Sin running away, but it looks like Udre's going to get the stun. Ooh, no, he doesn't. Jumps across the wall. Udre getting a lot of damage done to him by Kha'Zix, believing Wukong pretty much free to just womp on Zyra. Barrier's on. Ooh, Barrier saves him. That's a 1v1 against Wukong and Kha'Zix. Ah. Is Kha'Zix going to go back in and see if Zyra is... Again, it's the whole little dance. Ah, she misses it again. Can Kha'Zix should just jump in there. I don't know what he's waiting for. Yeah, that.
Wukong really didn't have a chance there. He went in a little too far to get Zyra when he could have just gone for her instead of trying to fight Kha'Zix in the back. If he went and took out Zyra, which he went right under tower, he probably would have secured the kill, and then maybe would have gotten out of there so that Kha'Zix wouldn't have gotten an extra one.
Yeah. Well, a lot of hesitation by Wukong. And then he ended up just killing himself either way. How do you feel about that? Do you think he should have just taken his wins and just let Zyra be and make sure he doesn't get killed by Kha'Zix? Or do you think he did the right thing?
I think what he really should have done there is he should have walked onto their summoner platform. Now, I know that sounds stupid, but Kha'Zix hadn't done damage to him in a while. So if he had went and just went on their summoner platform and got killed by the giant laser, Zyra wouldn't have gotten the assist money for it, and their team would have gotten less money overall.
Yeah, it's a hard predicament when things like that happen. Like, oh, this person hasn't hit me in a while. Should I go under tower? And then you realize, oh, wait, they just got the kill. Like, I guess I should have waited longer. So it's really hard to tell when to do things like that. That situation happens a lot in threes.
Yeah, especially when you're in a situation like this, when you're diving into their base a lot.
Udre, just not too long ago, being really aggressive, and tried to, like, 1v2 them.
Yeah.
I don't know why he was initiating with Bear, and Wukong wanted nothing to do with that, seeing that top lane was missing.
Yeah, Zed trying to take Vilemon there and was left because of the pressure being put down on top by the entire blue team. This gives blue team a good chance to clear Vilemon right now and able to get out of there before purple team can do anything.
I do love purple team's hard. Like, they do have hard. They keep trying to get this Vilma. Like, they won't stop. Oh! Looks like blue team beat them to the punch. Udre initiates with Bear. Zed goes in there. Oh, gets kicked out of Zyra's ult, though. by Lee Sin. And now it's a 2v3. Wukong jumps in with his E and just smashes on Zyra, and then there goes the Kazakhs.
Very good call on Zed's part there. Their main problem in teamfights is Zyra's crowd control. Was able to ult on Zyra right away and take her out of the fight. Absolutely delete her so that she couldn't do anything.
Quite honestly, I feel if Lee Sin didn't kick Zed out of Zyra's ult, that would have been a completely different fight.
Yeah,
Because,
bad communication there on blue team's part.
yeah, I don't think he realized the range on his kick. Looks like they're about to go for Alter. In my opinion, it goes Alter, Bilma, and then Towers on the controls you want to have in the game. So having Alter control is really important, and they've done a really well job of that.
Yeah, they've always controlled at least one altar in this game.
Yeah, pretty good game. It looked like early game, Blue was going to take it home. That Zyro was just whomping on Zed, making him completely useless in milliseconds of team fight starting. But miscommunication pretty much was the end of them. And then a lot of 2v3s and a lot of bad initiations by Kazakhs. Game should have went differently in my opinion.
Yeah, a very short laning phase in this game too, especially with Lee Sin. He left his lane to go help fights very early on in the game and didn't really ever come back.
Yeah, unfortunately our MVP Zyra, I'm getting shut down really easily by Wukong and his E, which pretty much dashes him straight to a champion. In my opinion, she probably should have tried building Wooglets because of it. She doesn't have a Wooglet.
Yeah, especially with Zed's ult, because the death mark goes on a timer, whether or not the champion is targetable or not. So she would able to get rid of a lot of their team's damage with just that one item.
Yeah, I mean they all have strong initiators, so they're all jumping on her, and she can't do anything.
Especially with
Oh,
how
looks like Lee
effective.
Sin. Yeah, looks like Lee Sin was trying to get a little cocky. Didn't cue Udre though. Looks like Udre is doing some weird dance right now. A little cocky.
Yeah, Wooglets would have been a great item for her, especially with
Oh,
the
no
entire.
minions. Wukong ults. Oh, looks like they do take out the Caustics though. Zyra ults. Wukong flashes out. Doesn't matter. Zed's on Zyra. Lee Sin does kick Zed. Too late though.
Very good fight there.
In my opinion, that was a really bad call. They just got really lucky. They had no minions and they tower dove 3 people with full health.
Yeah. Really bad call there, because now Zyra can probably take down the rest of Purple Team.
I don't know why Wukong would go. You should play things like that safe. You just won a team fight. You shouldn't throw something like that away.
Yeah, probably should have backed off, especially with a later game Zyra who can actually deal quite a bit of damage.
She has a snare. Oh, looks like she might even get this Wukong kill.
And look
I
at
mean,
that,
this Udre kill.
taking out the entire team all by herself because of one bad call.
It's heart-wrenching, but I mean, that's why she is our MVS.
And
What
then
is
as
she
a
built?
yeah,
I'm
I
really
don't know.
curious.
Wait, does
I
she have
mean-
Wooglets?
If she does, she has not used it.
Yeah, because Wooglets would be a great item for her here, especially with Purple Team being entirely attack damage. Because besides Udyr's Phoenix form, which he hasn't really been using as much in team fights, they are 100% attack damage. So the armor would do a lot to take a lot less damage.
In general, pretty much Phoenix form when it comes to Udre, in 5s, Dominion 3s, you don't see Phoenix form outside of the jungle pretty much.
Yeah, the Phoenix form is actually a great call for jungle because it allows you to deal more damage with less gold, but whenever you're not in lane, or whenever you are in lane, the gold that you get from being in lane allows you to deal a lot more damage. And the gold from being a jungler in 3s, and especially with how much he was ganking in this game, it really didn't matter. So it was a good choice for him to go Tiger form max first anyway.
Kha'Zix jumps in. Couldn't get the Zyra snare to initiate. Udre's going in, gets a little bit of an angle, goes straight for Zyra. Unfortunately, everybody's focusing on Wukong, and he does not do enough damage to Zyra. He jumps on Lee Sin. Zed's trying to run away, And man, that team fight turns around really quickly. Udre's trying to run away. Kazik is throwing everything at him. Lee Sin's right there. Hopefully Lee Sin can get one more Q and do enough damage, and he gets the slow off with his W. No need for the Q. Oh, but there's a lot of damage being done to Blue's tower by minions.
Yeah, that was a very good fight for Blue there because they were able to use their team comp for exactly what it was meant to do. Now, what they could do here is send one of them back, particularly Lee Sin because of his area of effect damage, which would be able to clear the minions very fast, while keeping the other two able to be pushing.
I don't think they realize their Nexus is being hit. They're not sending anybody back. I don't know if they're trying to trade and see that maybe they can get a tower and a Nexus faster, but I don't think they realize Wukong's up and he could probably get an ace right now. Everybody's all under half health. Wukong goes in with his E, gets kicked out by Lee Sin. Zed jumps on Zyra. Wukong jumps on Kha'Zix. Kha'Zix jumps out. Doesn't matter. Zed was right there in Kha'Zix's face. Minions for the win.
Yeah, really bad call there at the end of the game by Blue Team, because they, even if they were able to push that tower, they wouldn't have beat the minions for timing on the Nexus, because the minions were able to push directly to the Nexus as soon as they were trying to get the tower there in front of the other team's Nexus. So they would have lost the base trade either way.
Alright, Summoners, and that's the end of this game. If you liked, please subscribe, like the video, recommend us. I'm Sparthus.
And I'm Mr. Robot.
And this is the League of Karma.